Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thank you for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, share the show, let other people know about it. We get to have some important discussions on here. We're going to talk about some things right now with our guest. Now, you know her from YouTube as Miss Darcy. It's Darcy Giles joining us right now here on the show. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, Greg, what's up?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So I want to talk to you about a few different things. One of which, we've got an article up at Digital Trends right now, just talking about how to maintain social activism and support for Black creators and artists, and to maintain this momentum that's going on. And I guess from your standpoint, to hear from you, I know we've got the article up where you talk about this, but for you, how have you seen things change or be any different over the last few weeks, given what's going on?
I definitely have seen a change going on. Although the feeds are kind of starting to go back to normal, we are still seeing people talking about it and talking about what's going on, and people are still determined to see some real change in the world, which is great. I know that there's still protests going on. You definitely got to check into Black Twitter. That's where all the info is. So if you're not on Black Twitter, you got to check that out. But yeah, there's definitely still stuff going on. I think that people are going to continue with this. It might not be as loud as we like, but it's definitely still going on. So I'm really happy about that.
Well, you mentioned Black Twitter right there, so that's one thing to follow, and to stay up to date with everything. But for everybody to help maintain this and sustain, I guess, even more than anything else, sustain the move towards change and the move towards supporting creators, what would you recommend for people to do?
You just have to stay aware. And as far as like creators go, there are tons of amazing Black creators on here. You just have to find them. And if you can't find them, then all you have to do is ask. I see lots of people online asking other people to tag their favorite Black creators. You just really have to look into it. And once you find your favorite Black creator, just keep watching, subscribing. And I feel like, at least for me, once I find a few Black creators that I enjoy, it just kind of snowballs, because things keep getting recommended to you, and you just kind of find this community of awesome Black creators.
That's great. Recommend post and say who it is that you're watching, and I think that's an interesting idea too. Just because you're gonna keep on finding somebody else based on who this person is. Going for your account, for your creativity, could you give everybody just a little bit of your backstory on how you got into all of this?
Yeah, so I've actually had a YouTube channel for a really long time. Way back in the day, like 2010, I think, is when I started my channel. So it's definitely evolved since then. A lot of stuff has happened since then on the platform. But basically, how my channel really started to grow was I started this series called Black Girl Tries. And Black Girl Tries is basically a series about breaking stereotypes. So this happened completely by accident. I grew up kind of being like the different kid, the kid that was into like different things that weren't stereotypical like Black things. And a lot of times I was told that I wasn't Black enough because I didn't like these stereotypical Black things. So when I started showing more of my interests on my YouTube channel, I thought, well, no one's really going to watch this, but this is what I like. And then all of a sudden, I started getting all of these messages from all of these people who were just like me. And I started this community of like weirdos, basically. and now Black Girl Tries is like this kind of movement of like Black girls can try anything, Black girls can be anything, and you can try new things and you're not strange for it.
See, that is the best use case of the internet and of anything like that, is bringing people together. I mean, that's perfect. Yeah. You brought weirdos together, as we said it. So from there, and you started seeing all these people following you, and I'm always curious, since, you've been doing this, like you said, since 2010. Was there a moment where it was just like this shift where you're like, okay, this is the moment now, this is what I'm doing? and it's no longer just a hobby? Like this is something that I'm actually doing for real, for a job.
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually it was literally this year. So like up until this year, I had been doing YouTube like on the side. I always had another job that I was doing. And then this year I decided to like go full in, go full time. And it's really paid off, and it's been really fun, been a really awesome experience. So it's been great.
That's awesome. So finally seeing that and going over it. Well, for you too, you've got Black Girl Tries, like you said. What do you have in store coming up for things that you have planned, or anything that you can tell some of your fans to look forward to?
Well, I am planning a merch line. We are starting a new merch line. The designs are going to be amazing. I have the first drafts right now, so it's going to be really cool. I'm thinking about dropping it once we reach 1 million subscribers, but we're growing really fast, so I don't know if I'll make it in time, but hopefully.
Congratulations. That's awesome. A whole line that you're creating. What was that process like to start off with? How did you draw some things up, or I really have no idea how that process even starts? Like, what was the process like when you decide, okay, I want to make my own line of clothes? What do you do next?
So I just had this idea in my head of like all these different things that I wanted to try. So like I said, I started this community of people, and I feel like once you get that merch line, then you really feel like a community because you're all kind of wearing the same thing, and it's like in solidarity. I really like that because I'm a merch person. I like, if you go look in my closet, all of my t-shirts are Harry Potter or Inuyasha merchandise, right? It's all nerdy merchandise, and I wanted to create that for like my fans basically. So I came up with a few ideas. I sent it over to my team, and we're just creating this amazing merch line, and I'm so excited.
That is so cool. Congrats. That's awesome to have your own merch line. One thing we like to ask everybody too who's on, and since given this time, things are, with the pandemic and everything else, people have tried to figure out some different ways to be creative. But for you personally, what is the one piece of technology that you could not live without right now?
Oh, my phone, for sure. Yeah. I could not live without my phone. I'm on my phone literally the whole day. Like sometimes I'm like, Darcy, put the phone down.
I have to do that for myself too. I totally understand that. Well, Darcy, for everybody out there, where should we send them? Where should they follow you? Obviously on YouTube, but Instagram. Where else would you like people to follow you?
My Instagram, definitely. We're almost at 100K there. And also on Twitter. On Twitter is where I have all like my strange 3 a.m. thoughts. So if you want to know all about my weird thoughts, then definitely go follow me on Twitter too.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. And again, the article's up at digitaltrends.com too, featuring you in there, just getting your thoughts and opinions on this. And you're awesome. Thanks for being here on Digital Trends Live.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye. Miss Darcy Gals right here on Digital Trends Live. She is cool, and congratulations, seriously, on a merch line. That's awesome. So go follow her on everything. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We've got our own Drew Prindle coming up for Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet, where he scours the internet to find some interesting crowdfunding campaigns. That's coming up next. Stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. It's Monday. It's time for another edition of Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet. We have Drew Prindle joining us to talk about some of the crowdfunding campaigns that he has found online that you need to be aware of. Drew, as always, hello, and which one do you want to talk about here first?
Let's
and of course, just setting that up there, Drew is going to join us here momentarily as we get this all squared away here. I'll wait till we get this all set up. Anyway, Awesome Tech. Let's talk about that. We do have it on site at digitaltrends.com where you can go there and take a look. So what it is Drew and his team takes a look across the internet to take a look at different crowdfunding campaigns to showcase them and let you know about them. Sometimes they are really cool. Sometimes they're really strange. Sometimes they're a combination of both. Some of them, may be things that you want to get, some you don't. But that is what we do here with this segment. Now we're going to see, do we have Drew Prindle with us? Let me just ask that, and I think that's going to happen. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get him up here for Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet, something we do every Monday. And like I said, everyone that we talk about, we've got them all up at digitaltrends.com that you can see afterward. Maybe while we're waiting for Drew to come in, perhaps. Oh, there we go. We do have Drew with a different backdrop from before that he hasn't had before. But Drew Prindle, hello. If you can hear me, I just want to know what item did you want us to talk about here first? And so I'm just going to say that that's not going to happen. So, Drew, the internet is being uncooperative, of course, right now while we're trying to do this live. Well, if you've ever wondered if we're live, we're proving it here right now. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to try to get Drew back up here, and then we're going to talk about some of these different items for Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet. Stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. And it is Monday, which means it's time for another edition of Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet, where Drew Prindle joins us to talk about some of the crowdfunding campaigns that he thinks you need to know about. Drew, hello. Number one. Number two, which one do you want to talk about here first?
All right, let's talk about the Fun Key S. It is a keychain sized retro gaming console. So it pretty much looks like a Game Boy, one of those old Game Boy colors or whatever, but shrunken down to the absolute smallest possible size that it could be. This thing is seriously like 3.5 centimeters tall and like 1.5 centimeters thick. When you unfold it, it's about 7 centimeters tall. It is tiny, but despite that ridiculously compact size, it can play games not only from like Game Boy games, it can also play NES games, SNES games.
What?
Sega games. Like it basically runs a bunch of different emulators on it. So you have access to this huge library of retro games and it just fits in your pocket. So while it's probably not the most comfortable thing to play on, just the fact that you're always going to have it in there, like always in your pocket, always on your keychain, it'll be there whenever you get bored.
I am definitely interested in this, although for me, like my thumbs are way too big. It would never work for me. Like this is just not something I'm going to be able to play, no matter what. But the idea is still cool, and I'm taking a look here. Like you said, it's got all of those different emulators, all those other games, the size of a keychain. How much is this thing? What are they charging for this?
Looks like hold on, let me pull up the campaign page here.
Oh, okay, about $70. It looks like. $70 gets
That's
you
not
the
too
Fun
bad.
Key S. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And a 16 gig SD card coming November 2020. So yeah, that's not. I could see people just being like, especially right now, being like, yeah, sure, I want that. Yeah, they got funded in 3 hours. So I guess people did want it.
Yeah.
All right, going from that, we've got the Fun Key S for awesome tech you can't buy yet. What's the next one you want to do?
All right, let's talk about this lawnmower. It's this thing called Toady, and it is an AI-powered robotic lawnmower. So robotic lawnmowers, as you may know, have been around for quite some time. They're definitely not a new idea, but the problem with them is that they're not exactly like a Roomba for your grass. Like the thing is, in order to have a robotic lawnmower, you have to set up like this perimeter fence, which is basically just a series of stakes and wires that you put around your lawn, and that's what lets the robot know that's where you stop. Don't go outside of this. And they're just generally pretty like primitive robots. So this is kind of an evolution of that. Instead of guide wires, this thing actually uses computer vision and AI algorithms and stuff to see what's in front of it. So it can tell visually where the grass ends and where it begins, and can also drive around obstacles. So let's say your kids are playing in the grass and one of them kicks a soccer ball into the way. The lawnmower will stop. It can actually recognize, hey, I'm not supposed to run into that thing. I should probably turn around.
I mean, that's good. That's a good aspect of it. So it's not running over your feet or your child or anything. I do like the idea of this a lot. The fact that it would actually maintain itself. It is not cheap, it looks like.
No, it is not. Which is going to be, I think that's the thing. You're paying for the luxury of not having to set up that perimeter fence, which, as somebody who has done that before, I can tell you it is a massive pain in the ass. It takes an entire afternoon. It's very difficult. It's also very difficult to remove if you ever have to like leave the place that you're living in and, uproot it and go to it somewhere else. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. So you're paying for the luxury of not having to do that. And also, I imagine there's just so much more software and tech baked into this thing than the average robotic lawnmower. So that's probably why it's 2.5 grand.
Well, that is the Toady autonomous lawn robot powered by AI. And our last one here, let's talk about this, the Somni mask. What is this?
Yeah, so this is a mask that you can wear at night, and it will supposedly help you induce lucid dreams. So that's, if you're not familiar with lucid dreams are when you are aware that you're dreaming and can, in some instances, actually control what's going on in your dreams, a lot like Inception. So these masks, kind of like lawnmowers, they've existed before in various forms, but this one's a little bit more advanced than the ones we've seen in the past. So the problem with currently available lucid dreaming masks is they don't actually know when you're in deep sleep, which is when your dreams are most vivid and when you're most likely to not be woken up by the mask itself. The way they work is when you're in a dream state, they'll pump sound into your ears, like a trigger noise, so that you hear a ding and you're like, oh, that's the ding that means that I'm dreaming.
What?
Or they'll flash a light pattern in front of your eyes or something like that. The problem is if those happen when you're not in a deep sleep state, it'll often just wake you up. So what this mask does to kind of mitigate that is it actually has a sensor and it tracks your eyes. It looks for the rapid eye movements that happen when you're in deep sleep and are really dreaming. And when those start, that's when it gives the sound cue. So it only really kicks in when you are for sure dreaming heavily, which is something that masks in the past have not done at all.
I mean, I'm sure this is all done for good, positive reasons, and they line them all up there, but it's been a while since I've said something like this, and I can't help it. This does seem like a Black Mirror episode where somebody's going to hack this and then put sounds in everybody's ears and control everything. Yeah, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do it.
I have tried one of these masks out before, and it's weird. But lucid dreaming is really fun. I encourage everybody to get into it. And while I think this mask is definitely a move in the right direction, I am a little bit worried about the fact that it's got this big, clunky box on your eye with the sensors and stuff, because most people don't just sleep on their backs. So, some people roll over, you're sleeping on the side of your face. That's going to be really, really uncomfortable to wear. So hopefully they figure out a way to slim that down. And if they can do that, I think this will be great. There's no dark future in store for us. I think you might be being a little bit paranoid.
Yeah. Oh, 100% I'm being too paranoid. All right. That's the Somni mask. So right there, the final one here for awesome tech you can't buy yet. And it's already funded too. So 3 times over with 25 days to go. So definitely people are interested in that right now. Well, Drew, as always, thank you so much. Awesome tech you can't buy yet. Check out everything there at digitaltrends.com. And Drew, I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
All right, Drew Prindle right here for awesome tech you can't buy yet. Check out all of that at digitaltrends.com, like I said. Okay, thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. This is Digital Trends Live, and we are live every single weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So hit that subscribe button, share the show, let other people know about it, join in, comment, let us know what you think. We like all of that, and we appreciate everybody who is here and a part of the show every day. And that's it for this episode, but I'm Greg Nibbler, and I'll be right back here tomorrow with another edition of Digital Trends Live.